Alright, so it's finally not a million degrees out here, and I decided today to do the AUG overview since it's the last part of August. And the AUG has proven to be a very reliable firearm. AUG, AUG, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Sorry, I'm trying to not swear as much on this channel. But back to what I was saying. Yeah, so this is the Steyr AUG or AUG. This is the A3M1. You can tell it's M1 by its hump right there, where the sling loop goes. I'll talk more about this later. I kind of wish they would have stuck with the A3 because it's easier to do rails and stuff with, but they're coming out with stuff that's supposed to fix this. Corvus Defensio and Arid Defense, I believe. Shout out to Arid. I'm really happy they're making AUG parts that seem to be high quality. I haven't got the try any out myself yet because I'm waiting till I get a better job before I start really outfitting this rifle. Back to what I was saying. We have a Burris RT6. That's kind of the standard mid-grade scope I throw on most of my rifles. If I need one, it's a 1-6. I really like these. I mean, for a $350 scope, they're excellent. And I have the standard cheap TLR. No, it's not TLR. It's a ProTac 2. This is the cheaper one. This is the one that only has like 700 lumens, but it's still bright enough for pretty much everything you need. Really, this is the standard 16-inch barrel, which I find is great. That's a good all-around, just general-purpose barrel length for 5.56. As you can see, it's got an adjustable gas block. It's on standard operation. I find that fine for nearly almost everything I've ran for it. From steel-cased Wolf 223, which it didn't like to lock open on early on, but now it does no problem. So I guess it was just a matter of the springs wearing in with the steel case because it's pretty weak. But now pretty much everything has always cycled, but now everything cycles and locks open on the last round like it should. Everything I've shot from Tula garbage all the way up to like Frontier, which is not great, the Hornady stuff, the cheap stuff, 5.56, it's ran that fine. Mostly 55 grain. This gun shot amazing groups with 55 grain ball M193 from Lake City. It shot about an inch, and I was blown away. And it also shot about an inch with PMC bronze 223A. So their cheapest PMC ammo, this gun shot incredible with. Very accurate despite the mediocre trigger, and we'll touch on the trigger in later parts of this video when I take it inside. This video was shot in like 5 different pieces, and the last ones are all garbage pretty much because of I lost some of the audio and I just did not want to voice over it. But yeah, this is the AUG A3M1. I chose the mud color, the FDE color, because it was something different. I don't have any other FDE guns, and the green was like $200 more for some reason, and I just didn't want another black rifle. I have several AKs that are plum and black rifles, and I have several ARs that are black rifles. I just wanted something different, and the white was just too gaudy, I guess you could say. But yeah, really impressed so far. Kind of like an AK has a selector scratch mark. It likes to eject brass and leave like scratches on the side of the nylon stock here, which is fine. It's just a quirk. And also, for whatever reason, the nylon stock likes to rub the shit out of the bolt carrier. I don't think it's really going to be a problem, but it did take a little bit of the finish off there, which is kind of weird. This gun has about 1,000 rounds through it now, which is why I felt comfortable doing this overview. I might say 600-700 in the other part of the video, but that's because it was shot before and it's kind of spliced together. And that's why I had this new intro point to kind of show that. Another thing about the AUG, I absolutely love, the magazines are great. These Steyr mags are indestructible. They remind me of a lot of Arsenal Circle 10 AK magazines. Despite not having a lot of metal in them, they're extremely tough. However, the Magpul magazines are like $14, $13. There's a local gun store that has them for $13.99 for Magpul AUG mags, and they run fine too. They're as good as AR Magpul magazines, but made for the AUG. Also, don't ever get the NATO AUG. That's kind of an afterthought from Steyr with accepting StanAg magazines. And I know it sounds really tempting. I thought about it for a while too, but after seeing other channels have reliability issues out of certain StanAg magazines that were never intended to be ran in the AUG, I just would tell people to steer clear of the NATO AUGs unless you just want it for a range, range tool. Get the actual ones that were engineered to work with the AUG, the Steyr magazines, because honestly, that's what you're going to get best reliability out. And speaking of reliability, this gun has been flawless. Like I said, it's been AK reliable, literally. It's been coated in sand. I've not like mud tested this, which I might do later if this video gets a lot of good reviews. But it did fine in sand testing and water. I drove around on a really, really dry, dusty, horrible, sandy road with it exposed on an ATV. And it got absolutely coated, and the gun ran completely fine with weak 223 pressured ammo on the standard gas setting. So I didn't even have to put it into adverse. This gun has been very reliable so far. The Australian testing stuff is kind of true in my opinion, or at least it seems true to some extent with how well this did in sand, at least for me, and how accurate it's been. But yeah, that's the Steyr AUG. A3 M1 mud. I haven't got to test the AC Unity magazines out. I'm looking forward to that to see how good they are. And I want to get some 45 rounders. But overall, this is the king of the bullpups. And there's really no reason you should... Like, if you're going to get a bullpup rifle, and I'll say bullpups aren't for everyone, but I particularly like this gun, and especially for the role it fills for my needs as a self-defense / woods carbine hog hunting rifle. It does all those things excellent for what I want, especially for how compact it is. Like, no joke, this thing, I used to own a Steyr. I sold it because it was kind of shitty with magazines. And this thing is like the same overall length with a brace that thing was. Which is incredible for a full-length 16-inch barreled 5.56 NATO rifle. Now, the other complaint I could have is it needs more rail space. Like, if I'm going to get into night vision, this is just not going to be enough. I'm going to have to get probably the arid rail that extends it out to here. And then I want to get the bigger Steyr rail that replaces this one that the light's on. Essentially give it more rail space. That's really the only thing this gun needs, and it needs a good brass deflector. That's cool and all, and I don't mind the cool, like, battle-worn scratches, but I wouldn't mind being able to shoot this left-handed without having to worry about, getting brass directly into my chin. As for irons, there's not a lot of good ways to put irons on this gun, which is unfortunate, but I would just piggyback a red dot. Honestly, electronical optics are good enough now that should not be an issue. I have this sling. That's another complaint I have about the AUG, is the sling loop location. It kind of sucks because you see your charging handle over there. You have to deal with the sling, sometimes wanting to be in the way, and it's really bad on this chunky, like, Magpul MS. I believe this is MS2. Okay, back to it. Yeah, the sling loop was, it gets in the way of the charging handle. I need to get a better sling than this MS2 Magpul, because it likes to hit that, and I don't know, it's not causing any problems, but it's unnerving, and it can hit your hand. It's just a pain. That's one thing that the AK AR does a little better, I think, is having sling point locations than the AUG. I have this on the left side purposefully because it somewhat keeps this from happening. But yeah, that's my biggest complaint, is the sling mounting, honestly, with this gun. But otherwise, it's been a wonderful gun, and I see why, like, Australia adopted it over the M16A2, especially for the reliability factor. But yeah, we'll get this inside, and you'll see the rest of the overview. And I'll have a complete review of this when it gets up to about 5,000 rounds. Then I'll be comfortable. Like, I would recommend you buy it if you're going to get a bullpup, but if it's doing fine at the 5,000, it'd be just a good fighting rifle, defense rifle in general. And there's no reason not to consider one, especially when they're on sale like they are right now. But yeah. Like, yeah, a lot of places are for whatever reason, having these on a good deal. So go look into that. But yeah, this is the Steyr Arms AUG A3 M1 Mud.